So, you're looking at a tech career in 2025. Awesome. But you've probably hit that first big fork in the road. Should you become a web developer or an app developer? Let's break it down and help you figure out which path is right for you based on the money, the lifestyle, and, well, your personality.
Look, this is more than just a tech question, right? This is a huge decision that's going to shape your salary, your day-to-day work, and really your whole future in the industry. So let's get you the hard data you need to make a smart choice. All right, let's cut right to the chase and talk about the things everybody wants to know, the numbers. We're talking salary, we're talking job security, and how long it's going to take to land that first job. Right out of the gate, you're going to see a difference in salary. App developers usually start out with a bit of an edge, and that's because the skills are a little more specialized. But trust me, this is just the beginning of the story. And here's the thing, that initial salary gap, it doesn't just stay there. It actually gets wider as you get more experience. That premium for being a mobile specialist really kicks in at the senior level, which means app developers often have a much higher ceiling on what they can earn. So this brings us to a really important trade-off you have to think about. Web development is incredibly stable. I mean, every single business needs a website, right? App development, on the other hand, it's got that explosive, high-growth potential, but it can be a bit more of a roller coaster tied to the latest tech trends. It's kind of like choosing between the steady workhorse and the high-growth rocket ship. Now, if your main goal is to get your first tech paycheck as fast as possible, web development is definitely the quicker route. If you really focus, you could be ready for a job in as little as 5 to 8 months. App development, on the other hand, it asks for a bit more of your time up front. That's especially true if you're going for native iOS or Android development. Mastering those environments just takes a little longer. But like we just saw, that extra time can really pay off down the road. Okay, so we've talked numbers, but what does the day-to-day work actually feel like? What are you going to be doing from 9 to 5? Let's take a look. Imagine you're a web dev. Your day is all about variety. You're bouncing between coding, debugging, working with designers, and talking to the back-end folks. And you're always trying to solve that puzzle of making things look perfect on every single browser. It's super dynamic. Now, flip that coin. The app developer's world? It's all about going deep into one single ecosystem, like iOS or Android. You're obsessed with performance, making the app feel perfect on a tiny screen. And you have to play by the very strict rules of the App Store. It's a much more focused world. All right, this is maybe the most important part of the whole thing. We've got the data, we know what the work looks like. Now let's turn the focus inward and figure out where you fit into this picture. So let's find out. Does this sound like you? Okay, if you're someone who loves variety, who enjoys jumping between creative and logical problems, if you want the freedom to freelance, and you get a real kick out of writing a line of code and seeing the result pop up on screen instantly, then yeah, web development is probably calling your name. Okay, but what if that doesn't sound quite right? Let's look at the other side of the coin. What kind of person absolutely loves building the apps we can't live without? If you're the kind of person who loves to pick one thing and become a true expert, if you get obsessed with perfecting every little detail and squeezing every ounce of performance out of a device, then the focused, high-impact world of app development is probably the perfect place for you. Okay, so let's put it all together. We've got the money, the day-to-day work, and the personality fit. What's the final, actionable verdict for your career starting in 2025? Look, at the end of the day, there is no single best path. There's only the best path for you. If you're brand new to all of this, web development is probably a smoother on-ramp. But if you already know a bit of code and you're passionate about mobile, going straight for app development could be a really smart, high-reward move. But I'm going to let you in on the real pro tip for 2025. The best answer isn't either or, it's both. The most valuable developers out there can do both. By starting with web skills like JavaScript, you can eventually use that knowledge to build mobile apps too. Becoming that hybrid developer, that makes you a powerhouse in the job market. So there you have it. You've got the framework, you know the trade-offs, you know the lifestyles, and you've got a path forward. Really, there's only one question left to answer, and it's the most exciting one of all.